inevitable.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
I'm totally Batman.
Oh, man.
Shh. Communing with the earth spirits.
Welcome to California, bud.
Cowabunga.
And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
Okay, it's recording. Let's do this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. Join us as we wrap up summer, look ahead to fall, and catch up on what's been going on with us. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, it's Prague.
I am so thankful summer is over. This is Alexander Wolfgang. Wowee.
Hot one.
It has. California, it feels like it's just melting. It is so hot. I'm so glad that it's over. It finally had a cool day out here. Oof. Oof. Here we are
And
now,
you two have been busy. Busy little bees.
Too busy, man. Too busy.
But
Trevor,
hey,
why don't
thank
you
yourself
start
for the
with
best.
some of your stuff that's been going on?
So, yeah, it's definitely been a fun summer. I decided to relocate for work right around Memorial Day. And then from Memorial Day until
Not
Labor Day,
Memorial Day.
I lived in 6 different places up here in the Bay Area. And I finally found a house. And as you can see, practically done. You know, all those boxes, I'm almost ready to be moved in.
Are those all your collectibles?
Yeah, pretty much.
No way.
Just have a
That's
garage
awesome.
sale tomorrow. It'll be fun. Over the
There
weekend.
you go. Do what Sully's doing. He's selling all of his stuff.
Yeah, sell your stuff. Let's do it. Yard sale. I like it. But yeah, you've been bouncing around for quite a while, and it's been rough for us to try to get together to record. We've been to Comic-Cons and moving houses and all sorts of stuff. So it's good to catch up.
Yeah, I
And be
think
back.
Comic-Con was kind of our last, at least it feels like the last full episode we actually had. I think we had one in between, but through the move, businesses, and me now moving, it's hard to find time anymore to just sit down and just chit chat. Honestly, I haven't even had time to sit down and just watch a show.
Yeah.
And there's
tough.
so much good TV on right now. All I'm seeing is so much good TV. And I can't sit down and watch any of it. Today was the first day I've been able to get back into watching She-Hulk again. But yeah, so I alluded to it already, but my wife and I just bought a house in the same neighborhood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. But now we're trying to sell this house, and we're having trouble selling this house because the market is bonkers right now. It's off the charts bonkers. So it's been kind of a stressful few weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm kind of I'm not sure if even recording a podcast right now is the smartest idea, just because I'm so stressed out. Because at the same time, I'm not just doing all this move and selling a house and buying a house. I'm also trying to run my own business, and that turns out is a lot of work.
You don't say.
I'm oh. And then on top of all of that, the San Diego sun has been the hottest I feel like it's ever been. I think we just got out of this heat snap where we were sitting in the hundreds for about a month. It was a full month of just 100-degree weather.
It wasn't here, thankfully, but it was
It's
at least
been
a
nice.
week.
I'm glad I moved. This summer's
Yeah, it's really nice.
Trevor,
The
you
last
made a
few
good-
days have
good
been great.
decision to move.
Today was
It was
the
what,
nicest day.
74? It was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh god! So it hit 80 today, and I was like,
that's too
I can.
much.
Should I get a sweater on? Oh my god! It's so chilly out here.
Oh, I went for a walk yesterday at 6 p.m. and I was cold. I'm like, oh my
Oh, yeah, you need a
gosh.
jacket.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh
what
my
is going
Somehow
on?
this Sunday it's gonna rain in September, and I'm like, that's not a
Okay.
thing. That shouldn't be happening.
But it is.
Wild.
I'm here for it.
Oh,
Here
and
for it.
and then we had that hurricane that came
Oh, yeah.
through Southern California,
fun.
which
Yeah.
brought like maybe a centimeter of water trickling
Mhm.
down.
A little
Like
spit.
I know, yeah, a
Yeah.
little spit, and it's like, oh no, how are we gonna survive this hurricane?
I don't know. Looks like you
Good
did though,
Lord, come on.
thankfully.
Hurricane
Oh, God.
watch.
2022. Yeah, so it's been pretty wild on kind of all of us. So
And it kind of fell at a bad time because a lot of content kind of came out all at once. Like for a while, there was a dry spell, like
Mhm.
leading up to Comic-Con, and we're like, oh well, there's not really much to talk about at Comic-Con this year. And then right afterwards, like everything came out, both movies and TV shows,
Yep.
yeah.
all at
I
once.
mean, just
Okay.
if anybody is waiting, we're going to talk about She-Hulk. We're going to talk about House of the Dragon, and we're going to talk about Rings of Power. But
Oh, I have to watch those.
we have to watch them along with
Well, we
everyone
have to-
else because there's still episodes remaining of all of those series.
Yes. So we're
Yes,
trying our
oh,
best.
we are. But you know what? Maybe if we, I mean, if we can maybe touch on one of them, I don't know. Can we?
We can touch on
we
them
touch
without spoiling anything. That's
Without
kind of why
spoiling.
we're
Yeah.
here today. We want to
Just
try to tell
where are we?
what
you
we're
know,
watching.
Yeah, where are we? Like, are we excited with where it is? Because Rings of Power is the lightning rod of the entire internet right now. But House of the Dragons got its own attention just because we as a society cannot communicate with one another and deal with our emotions in a positive, constructive manner. And so, for some reason, the
anymore.
outlet is entertainment that we have to be negative about.
Yeah. So here we
Wow.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, and that a lot of that negativity is kind of is it all the way down the line? Because I've only really seen
It
the
really
negativity
is.
for
No,
okay.
I've seen it everywhere in every fandom right now. It's just a thing. It's
just bad
something
right
that's
now.
happening.
Yeah.
Which is so bizarre because the most negativity that I've been seeing lately is for She-Hulk.
Well, let's talk about that then a bit.
Like,
We
okay,
won't go
let's
into
jump-
spoilers for those of you who are listening that haven't watched it yet or want to catch up and listen to our reactions. We're just going to talk around the subject of She-Hulk.
There we go. I like that. I like that. But even today, I did see a tweet saying it. The guy had to preface his tweet by saying, "I don't know if it's woke culture or whatever this is, but She-Hulk is amazing." And I don't have it verbatim memorized, but
Okay.
I was like, why did you have to mention anything about being woke culture? Just enjoy the show and say that you enjoy the show.
It's for the clicks. They want that reaction from people.
Yeah.
They want it, whether it's positive or negative, they want the reaction. And right now, what gets the most reaction is negativity.
Right.
So
And
even
it just
mentioning
kind of-
buzzwords will do that.
but it just blew my mind. Like you're
Mhm.
trying to give this show a compliment, but you're kind of, it's almost, what is it called? A backhanded compliment
Yeah,
in a
It
way.
is.
It's also just like you nailed it on the head. If you have to preface what you're about to say, what you're about to say is not worthwhile.
Yeah.
This doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I actually like the guy. I really like the guy. I like his opinion. He actually has a podcast on crossthestreamsmedia.com as well. So, I mean, I'm not calling anybody out. It's all over Facebook and Twitter, so it's not like it's a big deal. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, it's something that didn't really need to be prefaced to a whole woke culture type of thing. Who
Gotcha.
cares what kind of culture this is? We're all enjoying a show. Let's enjoy the show together. It doesn't matter if you're woke or if you're not woke. If you like it, you great. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Simple as that.
It should be that
It's
simple.
never that simple.
It's
But it's
never
not.
that simple.
It's my life's mission now to convince everyone on earth that my opinion is correct.
Oh, that's hard. Ooh, yeah.
But that's where we're at right now. It's a really sad state of affairs.
Is that what this podcast is about, Trevor?
Oh, I could care less. But I was not me personally.
Oh, okay.
You can like
No, it was the
garbage, I don't
general.
care. But the thing is, we've deflected. Like, I've talked to Michelle about this. I have no idea if the Lord of the Rings show is good or not. I don't think I'll ever know unless I watch it myself, because every single opinion is either through the lens that it's racist or offensive because you're changing characters based on somebody who wrote books a long time ago. And I don't know if the show is good or not, because there's some people like, oh, this is the best thing to happen to make it as accessible as possible. And there's other people, this is the worst thing that happened because this isn't based on the traditions of what the author intended. but is the show good or not? I don't really
No one's
care.
talking about that. No, that's not the discourse anymore.
Yeah,
The discourse is everything else, the politics around it, I guess.
and
It's
that's
kinda
so
sad.
like, I just want
There's a
to.
lot of hard work goes into these shows.
Right. There's a lot of people who are
Yeah.
making a living off of this. Like,
And
this
what
is
happened to just reviewing stuff based on the quality of it is, not what it stands for or means?
oh my god, which also brings up the release of the trailer of Little Mermaid.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, do I have to hear another person complain about that trailer? It's like, dude, who cares? We will move on. Like, she
The problem
might
is
do
we'll
great.
move on, but the next one will come out. The next movie, the next casting choice, the next whatever. And this is going to keep happening for a long time. I don't think this is going to be a wound that heals for many years, maybe not even our lifetime, I'm afraid to say. So just buckle up. We're in for a
Buckle
very
up,
long ride.
buckaroo. And
Sadly.
this whole episode isn't supposed to be about this type of
Complaining
stuff.
about
It's-
society. It just
right.
that's what's
No.
trending right now.
It
It's
is.
But
tough
it
to
is. It
not
is
talk
trending.
about. Like entertainment and pop culture is infected right now by just all this negativity.
By trolls and by fake trolls too. People who buy these bot trolls that,
Yeah.
auto fill in stuff to, reply to certain buzzwords. They go, oh, someone mentioned The Little Mermaid or She-Hulk. Reply with this.
Yeah, Elon
Really?
Musk knows
Is that
all
a
about
thing?
it.
Oh yeah.
That's no way. That can't be a thing.
There are bot farm. People will buy bots to do that.
Not only that, I mean, we're getting actual stats of what it is because Twitter has this whole being bot thing by Elon Musk, and now there's this whole idea of what actually constitute a bot account, and they're getting actual legitimate numbers. And he says that 20% of users are bot accounts, and Twitter's like, no, 5% of users are bot accounts. But then now it seems like third parties are saying there's probably 5% of bot accounts, but the number of tweets, 20% of all tweets are generated from bots.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's kind of,
tweeting
they're
more
both
often.
correct. It's just a different
Right.
idea of numbers. But regardless, that's a lot of crap content.
Well, here's the thing too, is that those bot, any kind that's a bot account, or maybe it is a real account. Like, so let's say, for example, a bot or a real account, doesn't matter. There's less of them. There's not like a big percentage, but what happens is you have one of them that ticks off somebody with like a blue check mark or whatever, and that person quote tweets them, and then tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people will then
Yeah.
reply quote tweet that one account. So therefore, that person's voice is amplified to everybody else, which I think is kind of part of the problem. Like, I get why some people want to like push back against them and say, no, we have to fight against these people. And I agree to a point, but you don't have to go after every individual one, because I don't think all of them are worth your time. Ignore, block, ignore, continue on.
Well, like for instance, I've noticed like Elon Musk is a great example, because every time Elon Musk pops up, I mean, it's almost like Elon Musk has tweeted and it's already got like 10,000 comments with say something about Dogecoin, like all this. I mean, I
Right.
know that that's kind of slowed down a little bit because he hasn't mentioned Dogecoin in so long, but I do notice that stuff with some of these like mainly crypto accounts from my experience is where
Yeah.
I see a lot of these bot accounts. So
And that bleeds
it's-
over into the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Oh.
weird.
is
God,
weird.
people would love to waste their time on silly stuff. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why I haven't been on Twitter very much lately.
It helps your mental well-being. But I think, speaking to that, I think the most ironic thing is when Timothy Chalamet said that social media, we're literally in societal collapse due to social media. And all I could imagine was the thousands upon thousands of people who retweeted that to say yes. And the irony is completely lost on them.
Yeah. Irony is a dead scene.
Yeah.
Sad. Well, anyways.
Yes.
So let's circle back
anyways.
to She-Hulk then. Let's dance around this a little bit more. Let's talk specifically first about She-Hulk, because I think you and I, Alex, are now
Yes.
caught up to the most recent 5th episode, which dropped today or last night,
Oh.
I guess at midnight.
Are there
technically.
6 total?
That I don't know. I should have
Okay.
checked. I want
Hold
to say
on,
there's 6
maybe
or
I
7.
should check.
Just
think
tell
I've
me
only
when to
seen
start
4.
watching it, okay?
I think you're right. I think there's 6. Because next week is Andor. So
Okay.
I think the last episode is next week, 6, which would make sense. So maybe Alex, you're not cut up if you didn't watch.
I'm
today's.
looking at my She-Hulk
history.
account.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
Not
yeah,
that I'd be spoiling anything, anyways. But
I know, but it's like for instance, oh God, I feel like I can't say anything.
Well, are you enjoying it?
yeah, that's the point. Are you
Okay,
having
yes,
fun?
I am fully caught up. Yes,
There you
I'm
go.
fully caught
Okay.
up. I've seen all 5. Yes, I'm enjoying the show, man. I'm really the whole like, oh God, I can't say certain things.
I will say this. Like when I went into this, like when it first got mentioned, I was excited because I'm a She-Hulk fan from the comics. I really like her character. She was always one of my favorites growing up as a kid. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, I'm not too sure where they're going with this. But the CGI being the way it was and everything, I just wasn't too sure. I wasn't like as excited, so I was kind of like dismissed it, which maybe lowered my expectations. I don't know, but every week, like it's such a refreshing change to everything else I've been watching. It's like it's so different, and it's genuinely funny. Like every week, I'm like laughing out loud, which is not something I do very often.
Yes, and actually,
So,
for instance,
I
today
like
I
that.
watched the latest episode during my lunch break, and my wife was in the kitchen, and she was like, "This show looks really cool." And she's
Mhm.
not a Marvel fan. She doesn't care about superheroes or anything like that. But I mean, it's in a court. A lot of, I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of scenes where they're in court or they're doing stuff, legal type of stuff.
Legal
And
stuff.
my wife
Right.
loves that stuff. I mean,
There you
you
go.
mix in the stuff that my wife likes and then the superhero stuff that I like, and boom, it's a great mix. And I told her I would actually go back and rewatch this show just because if she wanted to watch it, because I enjoy it. I think there's going to be
And
stuff that I'll catch the next time around.
too. They're not that
They're
that long,
fast,
so it's kind of
super
fun to
quick.
watch. Put
Right.
it on. I mean, look, the CGI is bad. But you get past
Yes.
that after the first episode. You go, okay, that's the way it is. You just kind of let
But
it be.
I don't know. That 5th episode was.
Yeah, that was some of the worst CGI, but you
that
just kind
was.
of have to roll with it and
Yeah.
not take it too seriously, and it's just a lot of fun.
But the actress,
Tatiana
I
Maslany is
love-
fantastic. I mean, she's a great actress in general, and
love her.
she nails it. She nails Jennifer Walter. She's so good in the part, so
She-
charismatic and funny.
Yes,
See, that's a really good
charismatic.
info
It
to
carries the
hear.
show. Yeah, she
I'm
carries the
excited
show.
to see it now based on that.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go in expecting this to be like the best looking CGI spectacle. 'Cause that's not
No.
what it's about. It's like just a fun, funny, courtroom drama kind of thing. More not drama
Yes.
even. I would say it's more sitcom than anything. Like
It
Ally
is.
McBeal,
It's
if
got
you
a
guys ever
sitcom
watched that.
feel. Yes. Like when they go to the bar afterwards and they're hanging out
Yeah,
at the
it's just like
bar
that.
having conversation after that. It's like, whoa. Like this is what I'm used to from watching How I Met Your Mother, where
It is. It's like How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
it's got that feel, but at the same time, like there's okay, nope. I'm like, oh, I get so close.
But
to
there's
just-
already been stuff that's been trending big time because of the show online. There's a lot. I'm not going to mention what they are, but there's a lot of great. Like last episode, not today's, but last week's was fantastic. Introduced a new character. It was great.
Oh my goodness. And that's the thing, is you get a lot of cameos.
And cameos as well. Sure.
You get a lot of really fun cameos. And
Not gonna
yes,
say which one.
last week, I will say I did enjoy the cameo in that one. Dude, okay. Oh,
It was fun.
God.
So yeah, it's a
hard-
fun show. As I
it's a
say, as
fun
long as
show.
you don't expect like the best thing ever, just have it be that fun thing you put on during that. It's kind of like the palate cleanser, I guess, throughout the week. Because like I'm watching some pretty hefty shows, like shows that are very meaty, and some of them are existential. And it's like this is just fun, man. This is Marvel having fun, poking fun of itself and enjoying itself. And I think we needed that.
And I think that's what people need to take away from this as well. They need to look at this and go, hey, this is supposed to be just a goof off. Like this is a goof. It's fun. We're not out here trying to make, this isn't going to be like Miss Marvel where we got to connect universes and all this stuff, even though we're kind of connecting universes. But either way, like it's
Right.
it's in a way more fun fashion than what Miss Marvel did. Miss Marvel was very fun, but I would way rather watch this rather than Miss Marvel all over again.
Okay.
I'd watch She-Hulk twice over.
So it's worth noting She-Hulk is 9 episodes.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, good.
Well, it's good to know because there's something that was revealed at the end of this episode, which will make me very excited
Yes.
for the next ones to be more. Not saying anything. So, Trevor, if you've been off social media, you might not know. So,
Yes.
You've got to know by
no,
now.
No, don't say
If you
anything.
don't
Don't
open
say
it,
anything.
nothing.
Don't open it, you won't know.
Okay.
People were surprised. I was watching a reaction today, and they were surprised. I was like, "Wow,
No
how
way,
much-
really?
how-
I felt
How'd you
like
not know this?"
I felt like that
But
was
hey,
kind of a
Okay,
I
I
know,
liked it.
okay.
That's
All
fine.
right. All right.
so that's good to know that there's at least several more episodes, not just one. So that's cool. Well, now since we both Alex and I have been talking, is there anything, Trevor, that you have happened to watch, whether a movie or a TV show that maybe we didn't get a chance to? Or are you just too
I'm
busy?
watching old stuff. No, I'm watching old stuff. So the
Yeah.
main thing I'm watching right now is Star Wars Rebels, just because
Oh yeah,
Star Wars always has a special place. Michelle hasn't seen Rebels, and
nice.
as I get through it, this is some of the best Star Wars storytelling there is. It's easily better than anything in the movies because the movies are condensed down. They have to do very filler,
They have to.
general wide audience stuff. And so I always thought Clone Wars was the better show because it's darker as you get on in the seasons, but Rebels having a consistent story arc, it kind of takes the best part of Clone Wars and really builds the characters up so it has more greater meaning. And so when they ever announce things like, oh, we're going to do this in the Ahsoka series,
Mhm.
I'm super excited. I want
Nice.
Mandalorian season 3 to connect to Rebels as much as possible. Like season 2 has Ahsoka, they mentioned Thrawn, but to go full on Rebels,
Yeah,
it's just because they actually create characters that you care about.
nice. Yeah, I think it's easier too with animation. You could do a lot more with animation,
Especially
as well.
with Jedis and flying around.
what
and
they
doing all
do,
kinds of
right?
stuff.
How-
Yeah,
you know,
it-
creating
it's
the
easier to
look of a
do.
character. So yeah, I agree. That's kind of cool. I will say, like in that same vein, like some of the long form video games do that very well. And you
Mhm.
can create like better stories and characters because you're playing with them and you're actually playing as them. So that's kind of unique. It's like I'm replaying Cyberpunk, which is a game that obviously got panned right away because of all the bugs, but if you've actually played it, is fantastic. It's some of the best storytelling that I played in a video game. So I'm through my second time now, and I'm hitting different plot points and characters I didn't do the first time, and yeah, it's really fantastic. You get more out of it when you don't have to worry about, oh, how am I going to fit this costume and who am I going to cast as this person? You can do whatever you want in animation and video games. So you get really great storytelling that way,
That's awesome.
I think.
No, and I've been seeing a lot of screenshots of Cyberpunk lately on Twitter, and
They fixed a lot of their bugs. So
it just
you're
looks
safe to play it now.
fantastic.
It's
it
amazing.
Looks so clean and good. Oh, it makes me
Yeah,
want
sometimes I
to
just
get
drive
back into
around the
video
city.
games.
Do it. Good stuff.
So we'll take a quick break and we're get into our socials. You can check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. No, check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can find all of our episodes, all of our YouTube links. You can find all of our socials over there. It's a great hub where you can pretty much find anything and everything about us. And I know there's a lot of really great shows on there as well. You can check them all out. We don't have merch, but they do. So check out their merch as well. And I know that they have sales from time to time, which is really cool. And another cool thing over there, you guys hear this every week. If you listen to us, you can leave us voicemails. Leave us a voicemail. We might have voicemails. I just don't know if it's linked up to my email anymore. I'm going to have to talk to Dwayne and make sure that that's linked back up to me. If you don't want to go to crossthestreamsmedia.com, go over to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Secondary Heroes, all down the line. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. When you are over at YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps more people see us. You hit that like button, man, and other people just want to hit that like button too, and they want to watch and they want to talk. They want to say, hey, we love or hate She-Hulk. We love it at this point. We don't know. There's still a lot more to come. Who knows if it'll keep
half
up.
the season.
Half the season.
The jury's
so far.
out.
Oh,
Look at you.
nice.
Look at that.
I'm proud of you, Trevor. That was a good one.
And yes, and we still have a sponsor, TRX Elite. I want you guys to go over to facebook.com/TRX Training Elite. That's all one word, TRX Training Elite at facebook.com/TRX Training Elite. If you want to get the discount code is TRX-Elite, and you get 25% off of all your orders, full website wide, anything, all of it.
Nice.
Which is great. I actually have some of the TRX bands, and I tell you what, man, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And I just got the TRX weighted vest. So now whenever I go on my walks, I have a weighted vest that really makes my walks a lot harder.
I feel like those dogs that don't want to walk in the leash and they just like sit down.
That's how
like,
I'm going to feel. My dog is going to be dragging me when on my dog walks. Anyways, check them out. That's from my buddy LJ. He's the one who's hooking up with this discount code, which is TRX-Elite for 25% off. Remember, all this is free for you and it's priceless to us. Maybe I should have said that before I said the whatever. Hey, let's get back into this.
So I did want to ask, have either of you guys seen Severance?
No, that's on my laundry list. I have like a laundry list of shows that like I need to catch up on, but every time I do, there's like 5 more shows come out that week. And I'm like, this needs to stop. Like I
So-
really do want to watch this show. So let us know what tell us about it.
I do want to mention just because Apple had their new iPhone event last week, and at the very end of it, there was an actual stinger. Like it was like a Marvel thing. It was the weirdest thing, and it was just a little snapshot of Severance. They played a few notes, and then they showed a potential scene for season 2, and I was like, wow. That's a different marketing campaign for this company. And the show, it's my kind of show. If you're the type of person where you like a show where it's not obvious what's even happening at the very beginning, and each episode it's like, what's going on within this? They build an entire world, and it's like, what's happening? And then there's a lot of dialogue heavy stuff about what it means to be a person or individuality or anything like that. That's what this show is. It's just a very kind of like sci-fi idea of what constitute being an actual individual.
I like it.
Wow.
Reminds me of
Sounds a
Prometheus.
little
All right.
heavy-handed for myself.
I'm like, it's right up my alley. I don't think Alice is gonna go for it, but
Nope.
I'm on board.
Give me more green big woman in legal action. Yay.
And then the funniest thing about Severance is they work for a company called Lumen, which I didn't think much about it. And then I was watching Monday Night Football, which just football season's back, and it was playing the Broncos are at the Seahawks. And the Seahawks stadium now is called Lumen Field. And I'm like, wait, what? Because the company in Severance is the main kind of adversary of everything. But it turns out it's Lumen, where on the show it ends in O-N. The field ends in E-N. But I think they're both pronounced Lumen, but it's just that slight change. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that company sponsoring anything.
Interesting. Okay.
No way.
Noted.
Stock prices start plummeting.
Okay. All right.
So
Severance. Okay.
I've actually been listening to a new podcast. It's fairly new. But
That's the name of it.
Oh,
Fairly
wait.
new.
no,
That's
no,
a good
it's
name.
no.
That's a good name. I was just saying.
That actually is pretty good. Hey, why don't we start something new, guys?
All right.
No, I started listening to this podcast, and I'm from the generation of the show Boy Meets World, and I love Boy Meets World. And now there's a podcast with the cast of Boy Meets World, and I've listened to every episode so far. There's only like 11, and I have absolutely fallen in love with it. They do interviews with old cast members and all kinds of stuff, and it's just one of those easy listening to. It puts me in a better mood when I listen to it. Like, I'll go on my walks with my dog. They're about an hour long, and if you like Boy Meets World and you were a fan, this is a great show to listen to. It's super fun. Like
So they're just talking about the show as cast members. They're
So-
not talking about just basic stuff in life, or is there a combination of stuff?
it's a combination in a way, but their whole plan for the show was to go episode by episode, but it kind of strays off, and they kind of get into, hey, here's a lot of behind the scenes type of stuff. And wow, is there some behind the scenes stuff that I did not even
Racy
think
stuff,
would
huh?
happen in something like that. Not racy stuff. No, well,
No.
one
Alright.
thing was kind of race stuff.
Okay. Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
it all worked out. It was interesting hearing these things that they didn't realize when they were kids that were brought up to them, and it was almost like light bulbs clicking in their head going, oh my god, I can't believe I'm a part of that problem. And then they worked it out to where now they're not there. That was a whole episode that was very interesting, actually. But I mean, it's just a fun show, and actually they're doing a live this was crazy too. They're doing a live episode, and they're doing it down the street from my house.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a theater down the street from my house that they're gonna do a live episode, and I'm like, great, that's the same night as my anniversary. And on my anniversary, we're gonna go see Jimmy Buffett. So I'm like, Boy Meets World cast, Jimmy Buffett and the wife. I'm thinking Jimmy Buffett and the wife.
Oh, I was gonna say, see you guys.
But no, it's such a cool thing, man. I don't know. It's just one of those podcasts that I look forward to now every week. So it's called Pod Meets World. I know I didn't mention it. So Pod Meets World. I just wanted to mention it just because we're talking about things that, we're listening to and watching. So
I was a big fan of the show. Watched every
oh my
episode.
God.
So, yeah.
So fun. And it's really interesting to hear their thoughts on, because they were all child actors. These were like this was their biggest role.
Right.
And how they felt going into this, going, I don't know if I'm coming back tomorrow. I don't know if like they like me enough. Like they have some wild stories where it's like, this could be it. They have a whole thing called the death chair where they had recurring cast members come in, and it was like, oh no, that's not going to work out. You're done. And it's like this one chair.
Like Minkus?
Oh no, Minkus made it through the whole first season.
I know,
They
and
actually-
lasts much longer than that.
Exactly. But they do
So.
interview him, and he's got a pretty fascinating story of why he didn't come back. And
Don't spoil it.
no. But it's
Okay.
very, the show's called Pod Meets World.
All
Check it out. If you like this show, I guess listen to them too.
Nice. I hope you like this show if you're
I
listening.
hope you like this show. Follow us on Cross the Streams Media.
Yeah. So yeah, I other than that, and other than playing games, I have been watching the other shows. So I am halfway through House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings. So I'm caught up with both of those shows. And I think I might be the only one of us that is caught up with both those shows. So
I haven't even glimpsed the trailers for these shows yet.
wow. All right. Good to know. I'm enjoying both. I will say that I am enjoying House of the Dragon more than Lord of the Rings.
All right.
But I think that's because Rings of Power, and I think I've mentioned this way back when we first started talking about this show, is they're adapting a book that's not really much of a narrative. It's more like a textbook kind of thing. It's like, here's this event and here's this person and why they became this, instead of here's a bunch of characters and who they are and their journey and their plot points they go through. There isn't that in the Silmarillion, the book that it's based on. So they had to, as showrunners, figure out a narrative with so many different characters and people all across the land and a lot of lore and try to make it into a show that you're not going to fall asleep during. So,
Okay, good.
I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And there were parts where I was really bored. But it's really well done. Like, it's beautiful. I mean, they spent so much money on this show, and it shows. I will say I had a little bit of critique on some of the actual cinematography and camera work. But the actual compositions and the sets and the costumes and everything is fantastic. So it's just at times it does feel a little bit made for TV, even though it is, I guess, made for TV. I guess that term isn't going to mean as much to younger people these days. They're like, everything is great on TV now. But like back in the day, like you knew what a made for TV movie looked like. It was, usually kind of cheesy and hokey and
Lifetime
well
Network
done.
type of thing.
Yeah, it's like movie of the week kind of things. And
Yeah.
there's times where it feels like that. but it feels like that on a budget. Like it feels like that with like really expensive sets and props and costumes. So it's kind of jarring at times. I will say though that I am enjoying certain new characters that we got introduced to. So there's that. Like at least I'm able to connect with some of these characters, and as a fan of Lord of the Rings and having read the Silmarillion, it's really nice to see places that I've only read about in the books. Like, oh, that's that place, and that's that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, I'm like, wow, that's really cool to actually see that or have that person mentioned and shown. So that's that.
Is
But-
it kind of like a prequel, like as in how the rings kind of came to be made? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Just
Exactly.
wanted me. Okay.
And then this
Cool.
is, I'm on episode 3, and they just started mentioning something being made.
Okay.
So it's going to be a while. It's going to be, who knows how long they're going to drag this out for, how many seasons. So
I feel like with the Lord of the Rings series,
mhm.
maybe I was too young or I just didn't care. Like I watched all 3 movies, but I don't know if it really like had an impact on me. And I saw a video on Twitter the other day, and it was the scene where Frodo is like it's just the hobbits standing there, and the king says, "You bow down to no one." And he
So at the end
bows.
of the movie,
and
yeah.
It's the end of the movie, yeah. And everybody
children,
bows
yeah.
down around. Everybody
Right.
bows down around him. And seeing that scene, I was like, I need to revisit this movie or this trilogy again. I need to look at this with adult eyes. I need to sit down.
Oh yeah,
and
if you were a
really,
kid
like,
the first time, I'm sure so much went over your head about who was who and what was
for
happening.
sure. And now I'm like, now I feel this almost intrigue. Now that there's this show, I find myself wanting to dive back into the old stuff again.
Nice.
So
right.
I don't know. I'm feeling invigorated with this whole Lord of the Rings stuff.
Well, I think so. One thing I did really notice, and I haven't really read too many reviews because as we've mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, so much of the narrative around this show is like race related. It's obnoxious. Not going to get into that too much, especially since my favorite character is one of those people. And as he does such a great job, and to be called out for his race is absolutely ridiculous. But the show, for me, the reason why I think I was kind of bored and not as engaged in it is that Peter Jackson has a way with the lens and with the kinetic energy and the editing and the way he has his actors deliver their lines that is so unique and cinematic. And you get J.A. Boyena, who directs, I think, just the first episode. I don't know who directs the other 2. But he's pretty cut and dry. He did, I think it was Fallen Kingdom or one of those Jurassic World movies. Good with the big scale stuff, but he's not like known for like, oh, that's obviously, a J.A. Boyena, film. Like a Peter Jackson, right away. He does those extreme close-ups and weird angles, and he gets kind of goofy and fun. I don't feel like there's like that goofy fun. Like they try a few times, but I think that's what differentiates the trilogy and this TV show. So I think maybe it would have helped them to have picked somebody, any kind of director that might have been a little bit more kind of crazy over the top. That's just me though. To make it more entertaining, because this is dry stuff. The Silmarillion is dry. It was a dry book to get through, and I was hoping that wouldn't be the case for this series. So I don't know. I do enjoy it to the most part. I mean, I like Lord of the Rings, so
Now, when you say
I might
dry,
enjoy
though,
it more than you two.
when you say dry, though, are you?
Mhm.
When I'm thinking dry, I'm thinking Dune.
I was gonna say, is it Dune dry?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like-
Thank you.
it's
You're
like-
on the same page with me. Thank God.
Yeah, it's like Dune dry.
Well, that sucks.
That doesn't get me too excited.
That doesn't get me excited at all now. Son of a.
Well,
beast.
maybe I'm gonna lower your expectations, and you will really enjoy it.
And I'll really enjoy it.
Because the visuals are pretty. Like, they went all out.
Like
man.
Dune.
Like Dune. Yes. Very pretty.
Oh man.
It's a Fabergé egg. But the opposite side of that is House of the Dragon, which
It's not pretty.
was it? No, it is very pretty. But is a show that absolutely love, and I was not expecting that. Like, I don't even think that I was planning on watching the show. and I just decided to. I was like, well, I guess I just will, because I knew we were going to talk about it. But like after the last season of Game of Thrones, I just don't know if I care about this world anymore. Like it ruined. That was so bad.
Well,
that like
but
just
that's what a lot of
ruined
people are
Game of
saying.
Thrones. Which is too bad, because like the first 3 to 5 seasons were fantastic, right? And you sometimes forget about that once you get to the later seasons. So this feels a lot like a throwback to those first few seasons, where they were
Wow.
using, Jar Jar, Jar Jar Martin again. It's coming back, Jar Jar Martin.
It's been too long.
It has been. They're using his dialogue and his prose, and it really makes a difference, because he actually wrote this story from beginning to end, whereas with A Song of Ice and Fire, he hasn't completed that whole series yet. So like those last 3 seasons had nothing to do with him, none of his writing, none of his words, nothing. And you feel that. I feel like I felt like even within the first episodes, immediately like in love with every single character. I was like, yes, I love all these characters. I'm interested, even though I kind of know what's already going to happen, because they kind of tell you in Lord of the Rings, like the history of the Targaryens. But it's like it still makes it interesting, because you get like different perspectives, and you're not too sure what the truth is sometimes, which I really like. I think the
story
book
kind of
does it better, but
About
yeah.
the Mad King?
No, this is before the Mad King.
Okay.
So this is
Like
well, I won't
1,000
get into it
years,
too much.
right?
No, it's 200 years
Okay.
before that. So
Lord of the
You're-
Rings.
you're
is
almost
1,000
there.
years.
yes.
Okay.
Well, no, hold on. I don't know. I'm not good with that
Something's
stuff.
1,000 years before right now.
Maybe Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
10,000 years will give you such a
I don't do
kick in the
math.
neck.
I don't do that anymore. Okay, gave up math a long
Arithmetic.
time ago. Went through a program for it. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's I kind of think I like it better than Game of Thrones, to be honest with you. I think the reason why I do is because
Wow.
they're all just terrible people, and I love stories about awful people. I just do. I love it. I hate good people. I love stories about bad
Oh my
people. It's more
God.
interesting. I like people that fail. I like people that are slimy and terrible and make the wrong choices. It just
Have you
makes for
seen The
more
White
compelling
Lotus?
television. No, I haven't, but I've had
Okay.
heard things about that show.
I think you've mentioned it before, Trevor.
Yeah, I think,
It's just we just had the Emmys, and it won a lot of Emmys for
Ah.
limited run show.
all right. Okay.
And I didn't agree with that, because that show, it's a bunch of terrible people, but I didn't. I could.
Well, I shouldn't say terrible people. It's not like that. It's not like they're terrible and unlikable. They're terrible, and they make mistakes. Like people do things that you would expect a human to make. It's not like everyone's like a virtuous, noble hero every episode, like some shows. It's like no, people aren't like that. Some people do try to do good, but are still tempted by other things, right? Like
So there's no
still-
Jon Snow or anything.
No,
I
there's
was
no
thinking
Jon
the
Snow.
same thing.
So
Is
before
there any
this
Stark?
before the show aired, I think it was Entertainment Weekly ran an article about like, are people gonna like this show because there's nobody to root for? Like these are all not necessarily good people. These aren't Starks. These aren't people that are like from noble houses. So they did their best. They definitely made characters that were shady, but were likable and charismatic enough for you to be invested in them. So
Wow. Okay.
and there's dragons. Oh my god, the dragons are so good. The CGI is so good now with them.
Dragons.
Caraxi is my favorite dragon. Oh yeah, probably my favorite dragon ever on film. So good,
Sean Connery.
so good.
Dragonheart.
Sean Connery. Oh yeah, that movie. But yeah, this is very different. Every episode is so not. This isn't really necessarily a spoiler, but like you jump through time, so it's not going to be like Game of Thrones where like the next episode immediately picks up right after the events. There's not like a big cliffhanger every episode where you're like, well, tune in next week to find out what happens. It's like no, next week is 2 years later, and then 2 more years later, et cetera, et cetera. So like they're skipping through time to like the big kind of events in the house, and it has a different feel to it. So almost every episode feels like a mini movie in a way. So they have different, like every episode feels a little different. I've been enjoying it.
Man, you broke my heart that it doesn't do that. Tune in next week
I know.
when
tune in
this
next week.
dragon.
Medieval adventures. Find out who gets roasted next.
Like I'm not hip on anything, but once multiple seasons come out of something, I feel like it's time. Like I've watched too many shows that get canceled after one season or just
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
they never resolve their storyline. So I kind of wait until a show kind of develops itself. So I was like, okay, now I can watch this show. There's actually going to be a conclusion. And so one of those shows is Upload. It's on Amazon Prime. And I've been rewatching some Black Mirror episodes, and there's this San Junipero episode where it's kind of the afterlife of a digital afterlife. You
Great
upload your consciousness, and Upload takes that whole idea and it makes it into this interesting combination of like comedy while still being kind of like a mystery, like a murder mystery, but still having like a little like love romantic type of idea. And it meshes them all together really well, where it makes fun of kind of the idea of what a future could be where we're going to upload our consciousness after we die. And there's these big conglomerate companies that make these afterlives, and they're nickel and dime you for everything. There's in-app purchases for your afterlife. But then there's just a really sweet storyline of kind of defining what love is, and is your consciousness still in existence? Like, the whole I think, therefore I am, even though, it's not like a soul. And it questions that idea. And now I need to rewatch season 1 because there's a second season. And the show is just really cute. It's really fun. And I highly recommend the show if you've never watched it. Because I know that Prime may not have the, big standings of shows like Netflix or Disney or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I remember when it first came out, hearing about it and thought it looked kind of goofy, but then I heard good things about it, and then nothing. It was really weird. It kind of got that like praise for like the first 2 episodes. People were kind of talking about it, and then just dropped off.
Well,
but I think that's because there's been so much content.
Yeah, that too.
But I forgot about it.
For some reason, I thought that it got like canceled after the first
season.
So
did I.
I watched the first season. Yeah, I watched the first season and I loved it. I thought this was a lot of fun. And then when they announced the second season, for some reason, I just have not brought myself to watch the second season at all. And I loved the first season. I thought the first season was super fun. I don't know what's holding me back from watching.
I've had a few shows like that too, and I think it's just more content. It's like now there's this new shiny thing. I'm like, I like.
It's like Squirrel.
Yeah,
there's this new thing.
I think Westworld. Westworld is probably one of the biggest ones for me. I
watched the first couple episodes and I kind of forgot that it happened. So you'd mentioned it right now. I'm like, I should probably go back and finish the season.
The first season of Westworld is phenomenal, but after hearing bad things about the second season, I was just like, I guess I'll just quit on it. It's already on 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
And I hear it's getting better.
It is. It's pretty good. I just forget about things, dude. Too many things.
Well, I actually just today I was listening to a podcast called Too Scary Didn't Watch. And absolutely.
Is this the one about the women that like hate horror but watch horror?
So
two of them watch it, one doesn't.
One does, other 2 don't.
Okay.
And then so they actually just got picked up by like iHeartRadio or something like that. I don't know. They're like they've become a massive yeah. So now they at the end of all of their episodes, they interview the director of movies, and they're doing screenings of movies, which their show to me. Their show has gone downhill like horribly. I love the interviews. I think the interviews are great, but they've kind of hit their limit of like, okay, you guys are pretty annoying actually. But anyways, I still listen to them. Like I just skip all their fluff. Like they start their episode with, "Hey, what scary happened to you this week?" And it's always like, "My internet went out and I had to invite a man into my house to turn on and off the internet." And it's like, dude, this is what we're complaining about. So I skip through that. Usually it's the first 20 minutes. And then I actually get into the movie. The movie that they talked about this week, it just sounds so fascinating. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie yet, but it's called Barbarian.
Oh yeah, I want to see this so bad. I went to go see it last weekend and I got busy and I wasn't able to.
Have you heard anything about this movie?
No, because everyone says don't say anything, so no one is spoiling it. Like,
not
it's so tight-lipped.
I listened to the podcast about it, and it makes me want to watch this movie.
I haven't heard anyone say a bad thing yet. Like everyone's saying it's the best horror in 10 years they've seen. I'm like, oh, please let me see this now.
I am so interested. Like, I'm not a horror guy, but I want to see the visuals. that they explained in the podcast. I want to
Nice.
see this stuff. Like,
People are comparing it to Malignant, which is one of my favorite horror movies of the last 10 years, and they're saying it's like this year's Malignant. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right up my alley. Like, give me like high concept, goofy horror. Like, I want that. I love that.
and it's even got people like Justin Long is
I
in it.
heard, yeah.
Like, it's pretty. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything because I know that this is a tight-lipped thing, but I'm gonna see this movie. I've got
Yeah.
to, because it just sounds so fascinating. So Barbarian, I would love to hear what other people have to say about it too.
Yeah, I'll recommend it based on everyone else's recommendations as well. It's getting high
I think
praise,
that's kind of where I'm at. I'm recommending it off of what I listened to today.
I mean, and on the flip side, we can look ahead to the fall. Like, is there something you're excited about for the next like last quarter of the year?
Yeah, I can't remember the date because I thought I posted about the other day the new show from the Dark creators called 1899.
Oh, I saw you
Um,
post that. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's about the ship and the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh yes,
We don't know anything about it, right?
I
So
saw the
that's like- that's like Dark.
screenshot.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that one because I really like Dark.
Oh, really?
Right.
Is this like
You
the
didn't?
first reveal on this podcast?
I tell you what, if we had a bingo card, that would
We should- I
probably
don't
be
know why
the
we didn't have a bingo
centerpiece.
I really like this other show by the director I won't name the name of. So I'm excited for this show coming up.
Well,
We'll put it that way. I am actually excited for Andor though. That comes out next week. Just because the trailer was phenomenal. So, which is surprising. That was the one that surprised me. I thought his character was boring.
Yeah.
I thought Rogue One was boring.
Mhm.
So yeah, just we'll see. A beautiful movie. It was really nice looking, really pretty.
So
But,
I just have
yeah.
two little things that I wanted to
Mhm.
mention. No, I'm still watching Frasier. Trying to get through it's such a slog because I mean it's one of those shows that like when you just want to go to bed. Oh, why? But like it's oh my god, what is wrong with the internet right now?
It doesn't want you to talk about Frasier, man.
Fine. The other show that I'm trying to get back into is My Hero Academia. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm trying like
Nice.
these are shows that I like to watch right before bed.
When you're not frozen, that is, I should say. We're keeping that one in. That was great. No more
Anyways,
editing that
okay.
out.
I'm done.
Are you? Cool. Well, so one other show that I am watching, that I don't think either of you two will be interested in, maybe it will be, I don't know, is The Sandman. I'm a big fan of Neil Gaiman and his writings, and The Sandman was always one of my favorite comics growing up, and it was exciting to see it on screen. And it was represented really faithfully. So if you're a fan of the graphic novel and you've been kind of hesitant to check out the live action story for some reason, definitely do it. It's fantastic. Obviously
What
a
if
bit
you're
rushed.
not a fan of the graphic novel?
I don't know. Like honestly, I'm watching the show and I'm like, I just don't know if you might. I'm sure you would like it well enough if you had to watch it, but I'm not too sure a casual fan. Like it's really fan service, not fan servicey. I guess it's very. I don't know how to put it. Like there's just a lot of extra stuff that's not included, the extra context of things that I think could benefit you if you had read the graphic novel. Like it really feels like it was a love letter to the fans who have been waiting like decades for this to be represented in live action. And it's really well done for the fans, I think. I don't think I think that you could enjoy it. But I think there's going to be some tonal aspects to it that might throw you off. I know a lot of people had issues with one of the talking animals in it. Because it definitely has like a sense of humor to it, that whereas the rest of the story is very dramatic and hoity-toity, I guess, in a way. But it kind of pokes fun at itself, like in the comic. So if you're not used to tonal imbalances, it could be kind of jarring for you. Not too sure. It's also very graphic at times. It's really great. It's extremely gory. It's like a moment where like a demon like rips a guy open in half and splits him open as he exits him. It's fantastic.
I'm getting Twilight vibes from the picture that I'm looking at right now online.
Okay. Yo, the main character looks
The
like he
main
could
guy
be colored
looks
shirt.
like-
yeah, he
yep.
has that look. He's very emo. Like that's the Sandman. The Sandman's like a classic emo character. Like emo people love him. Like he's on t-shirts at Hot Topic and everything for decades. Yeah. He's a big icon. So is Death. So very iconic emo goth characters in the show. Gwendolyn Christie is in it. So
Mhm.
if you like Gwendolyn Christie, she plays Lucifer.
The guy who plays Lupin is in it.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters. Actually, he's fantastic in this. Really good. Like for example, he has an episode that is all about him, and it takes place in one place, in one room. The whole episode, the hour, takes place in one room, and like I love that kind of stuff. It's very
Yeah.
character driven. It's very nuanced and weird. But like I feel like a casual person that's watching this would be like, what is this? Why am I watching this? And it's like it's all about humanity and who we are as humans and what really makes us human. And you know, I don't know. I don't want to dive into it without spoiling anything. If someone does want to watch the show, I think it's a really great episode. So
Have you
the show's
seen?
good.
Yeah, have you seen Good Omens on Amazon?
No, that's the other one I have not checked out yet.
Yeah,
But I
so
do
Good
need to check
Omens,
that out.
it has like the similar kind of themes, but it's
Sure.
really goofy in nature.
Right,
Like-
that's Neil Gaiman, right?
Yeah.
He likes to be like really high up about like all the ideas of heaven and hell and whatever the themes of religions, but then he's also just really goofy about it at the same time. That's his British humor. That's a British sense of humor, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I think if you liked that show, I bet you would probably be okay with this.
Okay.
It's just very dense. That's all.
It looked like it because we saw the panel at Comic-Con and
Yeah.
it was heavy.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh god. So yeah, maybe not for you, but who knows? I don't know. I really enjoyed it though. That's what I've been watching. I think that's it for what I've been watching
Yeah.
actually.
I hesitate to jump back in because I'm sure my internet's gonna cut out
Make it
somehow.
quick. Make it quick.
Well, I finished Firefly, and
Okay.
I still haven't watched the movie Serenity
Okay.
yet. But I hear the movie Serenity is fantastic,
Okay.
but I'm hesitating on watching it because I watched the trailer, and
Yeah.
it does not look like the show at all. But
Right.
it has all the characters. I'm like, I worry if I watch the movie, is it going to ruin the show that I just
No.
finished? Okay.
No, what? No, it's the show. He just got a big budget. He got a like an actual budget. And he also had to wrap up he had I think almost like 8 seasons planned, so he had to like scrunch 8 seasons of storytelling
Oh
into
my
a movie.
god, you're kidding.
But it works. In my opinion, it works. It's still one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. So
Oh,
I think it's well
wow.
worth it. It really does a good job of wrapping up. Even though I don't particularly care for the human who wrote the story, he did a good job with the
Why?
movie. Because he is part of the whole Me Too movement. He's an asshole.
Gotcha. 10-4. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
good.
So
So one other thing that I've been watching is House Hunters, and
Nice.
this is a fun story which I can disclose now. So we bought a house, and in doing so, I applied to be on House Hunters, and we did the whole audition. They're like, "We love you guys. You're a great couple. You're outstanding. We want to have you on the show. Your realtor's really good, and we can start filming on September 17th and all this kind of good stuff." Well, it turns out your homeowners association has to approve your filming, and
Oh
our
my God.
HOA is like, no. So we don't get to be on the show.
Send me their information because I'm kind of in the middle of this whole thing. I wonder if we could get on.
And so, spoilers for anybody who is ever watched House Hunters. It turns out you need to own a home to be on House Hunters. So they give you those 3 house choices, and you can, when you watch the show, they're like, "We need your house to be completely empty, and you have to actually be in contract or own the house." And so
Yeah.
that kind of takes away all the fun of it. But when you watch it now, if you see a house and there's something that is like an everyday thing, like, oh, there's a roll of paper towels right there, or there's a roll of toilet paper, it's because people are living in their house empty, and that's the house they're gonna pick every time.
that's the one you'll know is the
Right.
one they will get.
So I did a little bit of research on House Hunters, and yeah, for sure, they actually ask your friends, "Hey, do you have any friends that have really nice houses and they'll go, and then you go walk through the house like, oh, this one's for sale. Ooh, but I don't know about the color of the walls. Oh, I'm gonna paint this.
And then Janet comes behind the wall. Like, what are you talking about?
You told
My
me you
grandma
love
painted
these
this house.
colors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, the whole thing's a sham. Like
Yeah.
you already
Oh,
own
God,
the
it's
house
movie.
and everything. Yeah, that's
Oh,
why I
God,
say,
it's
hey,
wicked.
give me the information because the house is going to be empty here by September 30th. So
Yeah,
that I'm
there you
moving
go.
into.
Yeah, no, I will. You'd definitely be good, especially because you have a single family home, so you don't have to worry about that. Like I got a townhome, and you have those restrictions.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's a bummer they didn't get it be on there.
I know,
No,
man.
we went through all the steps, and then the stupidest step, they're like, no.
Oh well. All right.
Bummer.
And then, do you want to end with fun story about
Yeah.
me at work?
Let's go
So-
for it.
I have AirPods. I've had AirPods since they launched, and I use them for all my work calls. It's cool when you're walking around or you're doing other things. You can just put in your AirPods and
Mhm.
you can have the remote call. It doesn't really matter. So I was over and I needed to go to the bathroom, and so
Oh no.
I was going to the bathroom and I went into one of the stalls and Michelle calls me and I'm like, oh man, I better get my AirPods out because I should
Oh,
answer
no.
this call. And so I put one in my ear, and then as I'm putting the other one, it tumbles out of my ear and it falls straight down into the toilet. And it turns out at work, I was like, oh, I'll get it. The toilets are automatic flush as soon as you stand
Oh,
up. So when I
no.
stood up, it just sucks it down. So that thing's gone.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
that was a fun
sucks.
experience.
I wonder, Michelle was listening to it go through the pipe.
Yeah, just like,
Ching, ching, ching.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
well,
well, that's a
that
good
sucks,
thing
man.
that new AirPods have been announced. So.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. Wow.
That's fun.
Oh no.
What a good way to end.
That is a good way to end.
So, to everyone listening, what are you watching? Let us know. Is it an old show? Is it the current shows that are hot and trending? Let us know. You can leave us a voicemail. Follow us at Secondary Heroes everywhere. Reach out to us. And until we talk next time, we hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Frog out.
Adios, y'all. Oh wait, I get to do this now.
This guy. All right, let's take a picture.
Hey.